It's been a whole lot of activity in the transfer portal as Alabama tries to steady the ship after Nick Saban retired a week ago yesterday. And then Saturday, Kalen DeBoer took over as the head football coach. Alabama's really felt like it's been under siege from programs all over the place, including Auburn now. We're going to talk about the state of college football and why it's more than just business that is ruining the game. And it extends further than just Tuscaloosa. But the direction of college football right now is definitely in the worst place it's ever been. We're going to talk about why and how Alabama can get things right in a hurry with their new head coach and a program that still has national championship aspirations. Welcome to the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Let's get this thing started. Roll Tide, everybody. What do you say? Welcome to the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up if you want to. That's a great way of saying Roll Tide. And no matter who you pull for, we're glad that you're here with us today to talk college football. There he is, the old catfish himself, Chad Anderson. At This Chad Is Real. I'm Mick Gillispie at Broadcaster Mick. What's up, Cat?
Man, this catfish been swimming around some cold ponds this week, man. It's been chilly, Mick. Woo, it has been rough, but I don't know. It's been a good week. It's hard to believe college football off seasons feel like eternities.
Mm-hmm.
When the season starts, somehow you go from week 1 to week 13 with one bye week in the middle there, and it happens in the blink of an eye. Like you sleep and you wake up and it's over. But the off season, it just drags by. And when the GOAT retires, it drags by even more. I can't believe it's only been a week. It feels like 10 years already.
Whoever had the bright idea to say, hey, as soon as the coach transfers, you can just start transferring, even if there's no transfer window, is an idiot. Why not just have the whole thing in a period, where it's like, of course, all the coaches are going to retire right after the season. Except the window was closed. So now if you leave your school and everyone's leaving, you're looking at like 3 or 4 schools to pick from, and everyone else has their players locked in, I guess. I'm so confused by the transfer portal, other than to tell you what I'm seeing right now in college football is really disheartening, because for years it felt like, playing for your school, there came a lot of pride, and it was all about winning. What we're finding out now, and we saw this with the bowl games, Chad, where, hey, if we're not playing in the playoff, we're out of here. We're going to get ready for the draft, and we're going to opt out and just hang around, and we're going to transfer. And we really have been spared because of Coach Saban. A lot of this at Alabama. Now we're seeing it firsthand, and it really is a shame. It's just a damn shame to see what's going on. And this goes far above the capstone.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a different world now, and Alabama fans are unfortunately experiencing this for the first time, because Mick, I quit worrying about recruiting January 3rd, 2007, because once Nick Saban confirmed with Wayne Huizenga that he was leaving Miami, and he got on that jet, and all those people were waiting at, Tuscaloosa International Airport down there.
Great day.
I mean, it was nuts, right? I'm not kidding. I remember watching the Tebow announcement and watching other players where
why did we even think we were getting Tebow?
I know, but you know what I mean? Like, you're just,
but we did.
And you would follow along.
Right.
And once he showed up, I stopped worrying. We're good. We are set. And he just came in and bam, just started winning recruiting national titles over and over and over. So for 17 years, we were extremely spoiled
Right.
Basically guarded. We were guarded from this, like shielded from it. We didn't have to. We would sit back in our chairs and just laugh at everybody who's firing, quitting, resigning, transferring, portal. But you know what's crazy is Saban tried to tell everyone. He tried to tell them, like, hey, you're going to ruin football doing it this way. The thing that I can't figure out, Mick, is they can't get this consistent.
Right.
They got all these different rules, right? Like, hey, you know, the portal is open until what is it, like January 2nd or something like that. And then, oh, but if you're playing in the playoffs after the season's over, you got 5 days to figure it out.
Right. Yeah.
Coach
5
quits,
more.
right. If your coach quits, okay, now you got 30 days to go figure out what you're going to do. But then there's the domino effect because Alabama had a job opening. Then Washington had a job opening. Now Arizona has a job opening. South Alabama has a job opening. Buffalo has a job opening. You know, Michigan's probably going to have a job opening sometime next week, or in the next couple of weeks. So it's like just this ongoing domino. Then you have a portal opening in the spring, and it's just, I don't know. They got to wrap their arms around it though and quit faking it. This college football is a mini NFL, and this is free agency. And Lane, especially with the NIL, and Lane Kiffin has become the king of it. Like he's figured it out, but they got to do something to make it more consistent and just call it what it is rather than trying to claim it's something that it's not because you don't want to be branded as a miniature NFL or a developmental league to the pros.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, but that's kind of what it's become. I mean, it's a free for all, and we knew that. I love that Shank jumped in on this, and I thought that this was really worth talking about when he said players transfer every day. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is being one game away from the national championship game, and instead of running it back, you transfer. On top of that, you get a coach who was just in the national championship game.
He's right.
It's no longer about winning. Yeah, it isn't. I mean, it really doesn't feel like it is. And seeing the destinations of some of these guys to go to Alabama's arch rivals, Georgia and Auburn.
Yep.
I mean, I was just when I saw Antonio Kite to Auburn. I mean, come on, dude. Are you for real? You know, I mean, did you not get it? What it means to wear that crimson uniform? You know, and I would feel the same way if I was at Auburn and all of a sudden our guys are transferring to Alabama. I mean, it's disheartening because there were guys who laid it on the line to win those championships and build this legacy that go long before Nick Saban.
Yeah.
And to think that, you know, some extra NIL money puts you in a spot where you're going to transfer to the arch rival of Alabama and Auburn. I mean, I don't know. I saw that and I thought, you know, all these other ones, you know, some of them I got, you know, Caden Proctor, he was going to go to Iowa and he flipped at the last minute, probably going back to where he's from. And Jake Pope's from Beaufort, Georgia. You know, he's going to Georgia. He'll be there with Tavarius Robinson. You know, I get that too, but it's just there's got to be a way to make this a little bit fair. I mean, not just for Alabama, for the sport in general. I mean, how long can you sustain this with no guardrails at all, no rules or regulation on rosters? I mean, there's nothing else like this.
Yeah, it's mayhem, honestly. Like it's just kind of all over the place, you know. But I stepped back and I watched some of this, and like what you were talking about with and what Shank here is saying, Alphonse Taylor, is that you're right. I mean, the greatest of all time just retired. You literally replace him with the national runner-up. And by the way, it's not like the national runner-up was somebody, you know, like a machine, like because Kirby's a machine, right? Like he's kind of gotten into that role. Like you're getting a coach who took a team that's never on the national scene and took them to the national championship. Like,
right.
What a coach. What coach? And guys, we're not talking about a coach who limped his way in and lost a game or 2 games and backed his way in and got lucky and played an injured team or any, like, they went 14-0.
Right.
And they went to the national title at 14-0 and lost to Michigan. I mean, I don't really know who else or what else you could have asked for in that situation. But going back to, and we've talked about this, Mick, the kids these days don't have that passion or hatred for the university like they used to. Like, you and I hate Auburn. I mean, if you don't know, just watch my Iron Bowl reaction on this channel.
Yeah, that was your big moment, by the way. That was when you broke out. And
that was it. Yeah.
I thought everybody was going to be like, man, you guys cuss on your channel. And for one person that said that, there were like 15 that were like, I'm right there with you.
I know, yeah. Yeah, it was, you know what? That was just me, guys. I mean, I acted as if I was at the game. So that it just is what it is. If you don't like me, I don't care. And it was, but they don't have that hatred, you know, for Tennessee, or they had hatred for Auburn, and they don't like get nauseous when they lose. Maybe they get nauseous when their team that they're playing for loses, but they just, it's different. I guarantee you and I have a different level of pride and just, I don't know what you call it, but when you wear the crimson, you wear the A, like that's just it, man. And I tell my wife, I'm not kidding. There are a few things in life I'm extremely certain about and very concrete, stubborn. My kid will not go to Auburn. It ain't happening. I live in Nashville. My kid ain't going to Tennessee. There's 2 places he ain't going. If he goes there, it's not a single dime out of my pocket that's going to either one of those.
You draw the line there, right?
Yeah. He wants to go, fine. Get a scholarship, pay for it yourself, but I ain't going. Or you're not going on my dime at all. And I'm not coming to see you unless Alabama happens to be playing in that city.
It would be so tough. Unless, what if he's like a great star player and he gets a scholarship? I mean, is there any scenario where you could see?
No, because everybody says that. Because everybody says that. Well, what if he's like this amazing quarterback or whatever? Like, if he's that amazing, he'll have a lot of offers. All right. Like, it's not going to be only Auburn and only Tennessee unless God's just punking me at that point. All right. Like, it's just not. So I just, they're not going on my penny. That's all I know.
Well, you talk about some of the other programs too, and we've been shielded because of Nick Saban from these mass exodus, and we've had players leave, and it's because you're bringing in a lot of guys, and there's other guys that aren't playing a lot, want more playing time, you know, and you know, they're just not cutting it, or the role that they're getting isn't what that going to another school makes a lot of sense.
Right.
But you're talking about now, you know, like Isaiah Bond is in the Daniel Moore print. You know, this is a guy. This is a guy that's won the Iron Bowl. This is a guy whose legacy was, for the rest of his life, was cemented as an all-time Alabama great because of that one play.
Yeah.
And now people look at him as a turncoat. I mean, like, let's be honest. I mean, it's a shame that the perspective of these young players is about making money today and not looking at their legacy, not even waiting around Bond to meet the new coach who's got 3 guys in the NFL, or 3 guys on his team that were wide receivers that'll be in the NFL.
Right.
Because there were 3,000-yard receivers that were some of the best, you know, pass catchers in college football.
Isn't Odunze like the number 3 receiver in the draft?
I think so, right? I mean,
it's Harrison Neighbors Odunze, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm that's off the cuff, so don't hold me to that. But
I get it though.
Yeah, I mean, also too, the thing with Saban, and one reason I want to talk about this quickly, with Saban, he had more first-round picks than anybody in history. So a lot of times with kids, that's what would frustrate me when they would transfer out, is because you can't see the forest for the trees. You want the instant gratification. Whereas if you stick around with the GOAT, He's going to get you to the NFL if you're NFL worthy. If you go somewhere else, you're not going to magically become NFL worthy, or it's going to be extremely rare. Like your odds decrease at that point, right? But I do think one thing Alabama has to do now that Nick Saban, because that was the thing, Nick Saban calls more first round draft picks than anybody in history, more NFL draft picks than any coach, probably in history as well. And now Kalen DeBoer steps in. So a little bit different. And one thing we talked about this a little bit, on the phone, is that the NIL has to pick up at Alabama. They're going to have to play the game a little bit. And I personally never worried about it because we had Nick Saban. But now it's kind of in a spot where Bama needs the NIL, and they need better than what they have right now. Yay, Alabama ain't cutting it.
Yeah, look, I'm with you on that. And to be honest with you, that doesn't really surprise me because I have heard that over the course of time that Alabama, and a lot of this was Nick Saban. I mean, he was very hesitant to jump in full force with the NIL stuff.
Right.
And obviously that is, absolutely killing us right now because you need the NIL now more than ever. I mean, you just got to. I mean, because you're fighting to keep. Look, the guy that hurts me the most if he leaves, who's in the transfer portal, is Caleb Downs. I mean, I just don't know how you replace a guy who had 107 tackles on this defense, and if he goes to Georgia. I mean, that it not only does it hurt you, but it helps your biggest competition. The team that you beat for the for the SEC title, the college football playoff, and it sends a clear sign that Alabama's in trouble. And I just hope that when it's all said and done, that he sticks around. And I mean, look, there's a chance that happens, but it's going to take money. I mean, that's just the bottom line.
Yeah. Yeah. So people do need to remember, like, just because you enter the portal doesn't mean you're automatically gone. Like you could decide to just stay. And some players probably leverage the portal as, hey, I'm thinking about dipping. And it forces a staff like DeBoer and Grubb and Womack. Had to think about that because I always want to say Womack. It forces them to get with boosters, figure things out, come up with money, calling bluffs and whatnot. And a lot of times it's not going to be bluffs because somebody else will be out there with a checkbook. So we'll see. But Caleb Downs, probably, especially the way he played this year, probably the greatest safety in Alabama history if he stays for 3 years.
Yeah.
And to lose him would be a gut punch.
Well, look, it was number one on, or it was on the ESPN front page. I mean, this is big news, and every time you turn around, it's something else like this. And I know that Alabama fans and alumni and people that love the program are so concerned right now, and I am too. But it's mentally exhausting. I just wonder how Coach DeBoer is handling it. Now, I will say this. I have been thoroughly impressed with the resumes of these coaches that he's bringing in. And I'm glad Robert Gillispie and Freddie Roach stayed too.
Yep.
And when you look at the guys that are coming in on the defensive side of the football, Maurice Lilliquist is a good coach, man. And he is a speaker, and he is a guy who just gets it. He is an up-and-comer. He had a little taste of defensive coordinator at Michigan, head coach at Buffalo at a young age. If they give these guys a chance, they're going to find out we're going to be better at the coaching aspect of things. We've always had great recruiters, and that was where Nick Saban really focused on recruiting. But you could tell that the X's and O's of Alabama football was slipping. I mean, look, it just was. And everyone watching knows when you can't get your center to snap the ball. I had Jake Coker and I do a show together. He said there were 3 snaps that were bad, and he blamed himself for 2 of them. And I mean, look, he had Ryan Kelly as his center, who's one of the greats, and we all just were really blown away at how good he was. And Jake's talks about how amazing he was at snapping the football. But 25, where you count 25 snaps that weren't good, and you can't fix it by the end of the season, and the constant jumping and not being able to block, and on defense missing assignments. I mean, it's going to be a welcome change to have guys that are good at educating on the field, not to make those mistakes. Now, the other part of it is obviously recruiting, which is a big thing, but recruiting isn't the same as it was before because of the transfer portal. Right now, though, it's Alabama that's losing players left and right. And we did a video yesterday about Coach DeBoer needing a victory. And I just think that they need a big victory right now just to change the momentum, but it's going to be tough.
It is. They just got to. What's going to be interesting is over the next few weeks, because you got the portal that'll remain open until early February. Then you got the signing day. And then, of course, you've got some players like Jabbar Muhammad. That would be an amazing get out of Washington. I forget the guy's name out of Arizona, but another one that's in the secondary. And then, of course, remember, we talked about the domino. What happens if Michigan players become poachable?
Right.
There's going to be a fight for Michigan guys. And there you're talking about a national championship university. So what's going to happen there? I mean, I don't know Michigan's depth chart, but you got to know their
offensive line
guys.
Yeah, they got a whole bunch of guys on the D line. Yeah, so
they got 3 deep there.
I just hate the way that it's set up for us and for everyone else. The college football needs help. They just need help. They have to fix these issues, and it's a shame, as I said before, that Alabama's kind of fallen trapped to this, where it's absolutely ridiculous that you got a handful of schools where guys can transfer and no one else, and everyone's focused on your roster. It's unfair, and it really is bad for the game. But in the long run, as difficult as it is right now, Coach DeBoer has a proven track record of success, and I think that he's going to continue to find that. And I got a feeling there's some guys on this roster that are going to get opportunities that weren't going to get opportunities, but are now, that are going to show us, just like every time guys transfer and you see them doing things at other places, that there's going to be guys that come in and make the most of this opportunity. But I'll tell you what, I would really love to see them win a couple of these battles and start to build some momentum the other direction.
Yeah.
All right, Chad, let me throw this on here, because I've got to tell everyone about ChadwickAnderson.com, where I'll let you do that.
I'm not going into the portal. I'm staying here. ChadwickAnderson.com. I don't know why.
There's your thumbs up. Yeah, there you go.
That every now and then. No, we've been telling stories lately, some success stories. So you guys have seen it or heard it, talk about, we've been fortunate enough to help over 10,000 families, got the new website set up, do a lot of different things, but we've helped one family. They save $400 a month. One family saved $600 a month. Another family saved $3,300 a month. We just helped a veteran get into a house in 2 weeks and 2 days, which is lightning quick. We've actually had a couple of people on this channel, which I'm so thankful for. Thank you guys for reaching out, engaging. We're helping one, working on the other. So again, scan the QR code as well. We'll hook you up with some free stuff at closing, and love to help if you're in the market for it or just want to talk about it.
All right, guys, and don't forget that we appreciate Chad, and we also appreciate our friends at New Life Art. Now's a great time to relive some of those great Saban moment memories at newlifeart.com with those awesome prints. Use the promo code Bama Tailgate for 15% off your regularly priced item. And Pearl River Resort over in Choctaw with the Timeout Sports Lounge and Sportsbook. I'm going to need to get away from all of this stuff because it has just been like 24/7. I can't really rest at night because I feel like I'm going to miss something. And I'm just going to go over there, kick back in the spa, Maybe play some golf at Dancing Rabbit, the Augusta you can play. Maybe the slots, like your dad, the OG cat who I watched win $35,000 in a slot pool one time and then double it up with a $14,000 job, which I was telling somebody about today, which is still the most amazing thing I've ever seen at a casino. But you can do all of that at Pearl River Resort over in Choctaw. That's to Philadelphia, Mississippi. It's in Golden Moon Casino. It's like an hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 hours from Birmingham, and drivable from really anywhere in the surrounding states. And on top of that, you got the ability to gamble legally, Vegas style, on the NFL, which the playoffs are here now. College basketball, the NBA, NASCAR, which is one of my favorite sports to put money down on. So find out for yourself, Pearl River Resort. All right, guys, for Chad Anderson, I'm Mick Gillispie. Like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, comment in the comments section. Great to have all you guys here, and roll time.